rights defenders, businessmen, and groups in Saudi Arabia.
It's called Prince Mohammed bin Nayef for rehabilitation. They sent Ali al-Rabah.
Found it abusive and false allegations, showed the flagrant.
There are many deteriorations at the political, economic, and human rights level. Among a lot of worse things, we can easily note the level of lying, misinformation, and empty promises, which in fact signify the low level of morality of king and his son. For example, today, our event is supposed to take a slightly different turn when we speak about the death penalty with regard to the law on execution and their implementation in Saudi Arabia if the Crown Prince were honest. But we are not only in front of bloody person, but also a liar, which exacerbates the problem. And Saudi Arabia put him in the jail like 10 years, then or more, then they execute him. His crime, he was attempting.
So I'm here today to highlight the case of enforced disappearance in Saudi Arabia. It's been a year and a half since my brother, Abdurrahman Sadhan, have been disappeared. Until today, we have no information and we know nothing about him. He was detained from his office at the Red Crescent headquarters in Riyadh by the Saudi Secret Police on March 12, 2018.
Country that is in dire need of broader structural changes.
When he was 18, but his car.
If I was in Saudi Arabia, I'll be in prison. I'll be tortured and disappeared. Because unfortunately in Saudi unwritten laws, freedom of speech is a crime. Being here at the United Nations defending human rights is a crime. I'm taking this risk to speak because I care deeply about Saudi Arabia and the Saudi people, and I care about human rights. And there is a genuine problem with human rights in Saudi Arabia. And the only way to solve a problem is not by hiding it, but by acknowledging it and facing it. And at the end, I want to say that I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to continue to reach out to the Saudi officials. I believe in change, and I believe in good, positive change. So I'm going to continue to communicate, and I'm going to continue to reach out. And I'm hoping to resolve, this issue, to get an answer, to be allowed to communicate with my brother, for my family to communicate with my brother, which is our basic human right, and hopefully, eventually, for his release.
I would like to emphasize for two tracks after.
Then in 2018, Saudi Arabia's record was reviewed by the Human Rights.
Imagine when the family is suffering, trying to get any information about him, any basic information, if he's still alive or no. And we are suffering to understand what's going on inside the Saudi prisons. And these crimes, it's completely not new. It's all the crimes. And we used to these crimes from the Saudi regime. But as Tyler mentioned, the story for Jamal Khashoggi uncovered lots of stories were hiding in Saudi Arabia. We are facing the issue for the forced disappearance and the increasing for the amount of the executions, as Ali mentioned. And you have seen the chart, how that increased with the arena or the time for King Salman and his son.
At the beginning to the end of targeting and detention, interrogation, etc.
Inside the country, whether they are paid or whether they are afraid from the prison. So nobody.
It is now time for the world's top human rights body to take more drastic measures to ensure that the complete impunity with which the authorities are acting is brought to an end. Without it, we will continue to hear testimonies like the one Arish gave today of people who have suffered from the most serious forms of abuses. Without action, the standing and authority of this council can only be in question. We already see that the council's inaction is fostering an increasing lack of trust of victims in a system that has already failed to defend them. What we need today is for UN member states to have the political courage to act, and we can only hope that next year, without Saudi Arabia as a member of the Council, more pressure will and can be put on the authorities to uphold their human rights obligations.
That will have lots of cases inside the country, whether they are inside the prisons.
I think special procedure for Saudi Arabia is very important. And this demanded by lots of NGOs, whether they are here and Ines Kalamardan, whether it is special rapporteur or annual report or any special report, special procedure to follow up the violations with Saudi Arabia. This is one important demand that we need to focus on.